lovely time out to you. Welcome to another interesting edition of your program, our program Break Barriers. This is definitely News Buster, and this is where we give you all content ranging from entertainment, information, education, as well as things that go round and round the world. On Break Barriers, we bring all kinds of legends, both male and female, to talk about their life experiences, the places they have been, the things they have done to humanity, and how they have been able to break barriers. On today's edition of Breaking Barriers, I have a great and of course an important personality in the studio. I would not introduce her before introducing myself. My name is Olayinka Olatunji, welcoming you to another sweet edition. And definitely my guest today is nobody but the Chief Lady Udo Christie, or let me call Chief Lady Christie Udo. Let me put it that way so that we'll get it right there. It's a pleasure to meet you, ma. And I would also give you an opportunity to mention your name in a classic manner. Maybe I didn't do justice to it.
I am Chief Lady Ako Christie
Odu. Oh, okay. I'm from this Yoruba part where before we mention names, we have to really Eku Odu.
We talk about Odu. Christie, that's the name.
Oh, festivity. Eku Odu. It's a pleasure to meet you, ma. And over the years, we have had to read and watch some of your interviews, which has prompted us to also want to be or share a part of your story. Talking about the Friends of Disability, which you stand to represent. Over the years, we have read, and we know that you are a friend to disability, which is the reason why the organization, or do I call it an NGO, is alive today. Tell us about your friends with let me say your friendship with the disabilities.
Thank you very much. We are known as friends of people with disabilities. And the disabilities are all sorts, from physically challenged to visual impairments to hearing or speech impairments to mental retardedness. So they are all people living with disabilities. We are friends. And we don't have a particular disability to talk about or to do something about. It's all of them. All of them are friends. And we are not registered then as Friends of the Disabled. But as time went on, through our activities and programs and empowerment, we discovered they are not disabled, but they are living with disabilities. There are certain things in their body that are not working as every other person will call normal. So they are living with some disabilities, but they are able. They can do things. So some of our partners say we should get the name to be Friends of People with Disabilities, and that's where we are. All of them with disabilities, they are friends.
Okay, and I would like to know, how did this journey start?
A long time ago. It started when I was that young. When I was still a young lady in my community, we used to go to people that are old, the older citizens of my community, on Saturdays. And within our church, we have as an organization or association or a religious body called Legion.
Okay.
And they do give us assignments. So I was one of those who loved to go to elderly people or poor people to go and clean their homes on Saturdays. And so it was, and my mother, she was and is in my mind now a kind woman. So many people lived with her that are not her children. So many people within the community go to her or come to her, or she will call them to come and eat if they are hungry. And so she was like that. So giving to people and helping people is part of my background from where I was born. And then I grew up with helping people makes me happy, or giving people help, solving problems makes me happy. And if there is something like a problem or obstruction, I really will know what to do to get over it. And I come to know that there's no problem or issue that is solved, but it can be managed. You don't solve it. You can find a way of, overcoming something to still do something. And that leads to this disability. Those that have that are physically challenged, there's another way. You see, they can walk. See how Pato is walking. There are those on the skateboard that they can't stand. There's a way of handling any issue or any problem. So disability itself is not a problem, but it's the way we could handle it or manage it. And the people around them help them to adjust to it. So I felt I'm happy when I help. I'm happy when I solve problem. That's how it all started from when I was young. And so I carried it on to when I got married. And there was a time I'm a teacher by profession.
Because I was just going to ask that, did you just metamorphosed into just gathering people and helping? Do you have a profession? Like, what do you do?
I'm a teacher by profession, and I reached to the level of Assistant Director of Education in Lagos State.
Wow.
And I had to retire voluntarily. So as a teacher, every long vac, I used to take my children to my village from Lagos. Okay. And so one day, one young man came to me. He was visually impaired, and he knew me when I was young, and so he senior me in that community. And he started telling me about himself and how they were not getting help. That's how it now came again into a mind that loves helping people. Mm-hmm. So I started discussing with him, and then that led to gathering all people with disabilities in my community, in my local government. Mm-hmm. And this program we are doing here, we have people representing and people we have done things for in my local government, local government in Imo State. So with that man, we started helping him, helping train his children, helping got job in the local government. The year he got job in the local government, in 1994, it was an exciting ceremony. It was something that had not happened before. So people would go to the community and say, come and see a blind man typing. They could type. Yes. So we brought him all they needed and we made sure that he worked there. So they put him in the social service sector. And they were going to see him as if you are going to see film or cinema or football.
Like they've seen a miracle.
A miracle. And they would come and say, he's so sensitive that even if on TikTok you get into his office, he will know. Immediately they say, yes, who are you? What's your name? And some of them, look, because he was from that community, they will call him by his name, Vin. How did you know I came here? I said, he was laughing. He said, if I can't see, I can hear. So from that man, because he was in the local government, when there were chances for jobs, he will make sure that somebody with disability gets in. And today, there are some of them that are working with the local government and some of them that have been transferred to other places. So this is how it started. And here in Lagos, where I lived, there were people kept coming to me, and they would, even those with elephantiasis, I don't know how they knew. And even those living close to me, they would come to me, ask for something, I try to help. And in my parish, Church of the Assumption of Alamo, there is an association, there that St. Vincent de Paul is for charity too. They are helping people. So those who come to me, I will direct them there, and they were helping. And I have a sister in Christ that her husband was a member, and she was a member. And so I kept taking people to them to help because I didn't have what it took them to, even now. So linking them to where they will get help. And that's how it all came. And one day, as I went on holidays in my community, somebody came to me with a girl, a small girl that was crawling. Immediately an idea, it is this question of an idea. I was wondering why that girl was using her hand and legs and was walking. She can now be on a wheelchair, or can now be on a tricycle, or can now be on a skateboard like the children I do see along Marina or everywhere. You know, they used to be on a skateboard and was. And when they came, I told them that I'll do what I can and make sure that she's not using her hands and everything. They were just looking at me. The next time I came back to Lagos, I went to Marina. I saw a group of very young boys on skateboard. I called one of them. They called their leader, and I started discussing how they got the skateboard I want to buy. They said, no, they can make even tricycle. That is the one, 2 tires at the back, one in front, tricycle. I said, oh, yeah, do it for me. And they really built it. And they were empowered. They had handwork. And all of them, most of them were from the north. All of them. And after building it, I'm taking it to a faraway place in the east. There's no way the police won't stop you and ask for receipt for that and that because they told me, no, you don't go to school, you don't know how to write. You don't go to school. And what are you doing here? That's their working. What is their work? To go out every morning to beg. I felt chilled like a teacher. I knew they can read and write. So when I came back, I went back to them, pleading with them to go to school. And they said they would go, some of them. And there was no place I could. When I come back from school, I go to them. And in car park 4, Marina, there was this AC Foods somewhere. And they had their generator house very close. And because they saw me in the sun in the evening, helping to teach them, they vacated the generator house and gave it to us. We had a record of, we would teach a group on Monday, another, they were over 50. So they can't enter there, they can't be accommodated there because of this place. And so we would take about 7 or 8 Monday, another group Tuesday. That is how I was. Before you know it, one of my friends, a teacher, saw it and joined me. So that's how we kept being there until something happened at the Jora under the bridge. I think people were doing something there and something caught fire and the bridge got burnt. So there was a law that everybody doing something under the bridge in Lagos would go away and we were affected. And that's when I went to the local government. They said I should go to Ikeja. We were directed by some people that were happy with what we are doing to go and meet the military governor of Lagos State then, Colonel Lagunsuye Onyilola. So we went there, we talked to him, he said, that place where we're talking belongs to the island. I will go and meet the sole administrator of Lagos Island. We came. So we started negotiating. I didn't know here, I didn't see here. Where I was asking for is the one at Surana. That's whether political building or whatever, a building like this. They say there were how many of them in each local government. It was built that time. So when they later came after a long time, 1996 September, and they took us to this place. It's not anywhere anybody can say. We met with hoodlums, men and women. This very building there now, that is our district, was on the ground where grass growing, forest everywhere. There was no back, it was open to the express. I think they felt that we could not be here.
Achieve something.
Because in the letter they gave us, they said we should go to the City Hall engineer the City Hall, to arrange on how to dislodge the hoodlums. It's there in the letter. And so, but I wasn't afraid when I came. The boys were all there. They followed me because they had no other place to stay in Marina there. And they still were going out to beg and come. Every day I come and see them. That's how some people caught sight of us here. And I promised them that you won't go out to beg again. I want you to go to school. And I'll give you food. They say, how they will give you food? In fact, they took begging as a good job. And I say, it's not. Mama, that's how we can say no. For here, since we are here, this side, we cannot. So that's how some of them left and few of them stayed. And
okay, let's cut that at that point. When you were speaking about the journey so far, you talked about marriage and how you usually take your kids home. I began to wonder, you know, our society is a society where we believe that women are limited to a certain area. How were you able to manage marriage, your love for what you do, and of course your family?
My husband got involved with what I was doing. So two of us were in it. And Uju is a kind man, he's a man that would like to help. So to take our children home and people come and you give what you have, it's not a big deal for us. So that's what it is. And whatever we have and we need it, we give it because we know that's the right thing to do.
He wasn't saying that you can't keep doing this, you can't bring these people around.
Not at all. Even when we had a youth copper that was sent from Imo, he couldn't hear well, he couldn't talk well. It was in my house, somebody sent him. I came back from school and he was wearing this thing. I thought that day he would, even the man we met at the gate, Afolabi, the gate man now, the day he came to my house, he's from Kwara. I don't know what he came to do in Lagos, got stranded. They sent him to me. He looked at us and said, he just kept quiet and we were able to talk to him. I was able to talk to them. And he saw that something is happening that will help out. And he's with me. He helped. When we came here, it's a call, but he was into business. There are so many things that needed to be done I didn't know. But I know I have the idea of what we are doing. And so when things come out, he knows how to do it, what we should write to this and look to this, and those are we are all there together.
Let's talk about the challenges you have faced, or are you still facing any challenge? I don't know. I want to say maybe you're so big now and maybe you're over it.
The challenges we met at first is still now and even more now than before. Because the challenges are the resources, the money, the things to take care of these things. When we started, we were giving from what we had to them. And it started growing. Then that's how we went to National Directorate of Employment. When we came here, we were seeing and looking and reading about my husband reads newspapers. We love it. There's no day he wouldn't spend money to buy 3, 4 different ones. And so he was able to know and see and understand those things. So National Directorate of Employment, they were then in Surulere headquarters. Before they went to Abuja, they were there. And we went to them and said, National Director of Employment, we read what they were doing, and we met them to come and help us, tidy this place and help us open up a skill. Because those boys have agreed not to go begging. And we give them food and we teach them how to make shoe and all that. So they agreed. So NDE came. And even when they moved to Abuja, they came to help us to train these people, to give them skills, empowerment. So they started us with their own money, with their own material. They gave us tools and equipment and all that. So the first set that trend here, you can see some of them after you see the pictures. The first set that trend, it is NDE. And when MDE saw what we were doing and it was fine, he brought GTZ. So GTZ is a German NGO, so, and GTZ joined them. And we were there still with NDE and GTZ, MTN media. They came, and the MTN had to give us about 96 people to train, about for something a year. And the people that came there that time were more of people with hearing and speech impairment.
Oh.
To train, that is, the money wasn't all that coming that we have it. It came that people came and said, let's help you. Let's partner with you. So partnership, and MTN came. Then as they were going, there are certain number of years those helping can their office allow them to.
Yes, it's like a signed contract for a particular duration.
From NDE to GTZ, then MTN came, and some other individuals, friends that knew about it. And from there, the Princess Royal of England came. And before MTN came, there was a man we worked with VSO, Voluntary Service Overseas. When we hear where people can help, we try to reach out. And when we reach out, they come, then they do what they can do. The important thing is come here and see and know what we are doing. And when they see what we are doing, and when they know what we are doing, they are the ones who will even tell us, this is what we can do. And we say, do it. So VSO, one man came, he's a British man, to start off with this empowerment. And that's how the empowerment started. And when he was serving here, by 2001, the Princess Royal came. And when that one did, other people started coming. And then after MTN, I think the SNECO, one of our brothers in Christ, that was close, that was there at Who Is Who, opened up. And SNECO came, is another company. All these interlocking ties you see under the bridge to here, they are the ones. And so, and that time we needed more, and there were more students coming. I think they gave a hint to another organization that they call SPE, Society of Petroleum Engineers.
Okay.
They are on their own, but it's like they contribute to going to help. So the petroleum engineers came. That's where they were until then.
So you're saying that after all these collaborations you've had with these individual companies, it's been very difficult to get more people committed.
Yes, after them and then COVID, we don't have anything again.
So how do you generate finances?
Our directors are coughing out, and some individuals, some churches that we reach. Then when the new admin officer came, in the name of Bartholomew, he tries to reach some other people we might not know, we might not reach.
Okay.
And at least they bring food. And then some children have come. And the children that come, there's no money to, when they come, you have shoemaking, you have tailoring, you have the classroom.
Yes, I saw all that on your signpost.
Education is the major, because even when you learn skill, you have to write receipt and you have to, money is important. And then we have a fish farm. So all these things, when those people were there, MTN started off with fish farm, and individuals and some organizations, they put one thing or the whatever has held us here and what people brought and we put it, they will be there with us, and they make sure we put it into that very thing for which they are doing it.
And they are still in the business of making shoes.
Look at what I'm wearing. This thing is made here.
Wow, beautiful.
This made here. Look at what I'm wearing on my neck. It's made here. Look at my beard. It's made here.
It's amazing.
And this thing on my hand is made here. So with all this bead making, this dress was sewn here. So when we have people that can help us give some stipend to these artisans and these empowering people, then we have them and they come.
What about patronage? Do you usually see people, or do you take out some of the goods, maybe to the market or referrals, or how do you sell?
One of the ways we sell, when people come or visit, we expose what we have and sell. And when SNEDCO was with us as part of their patronage, they will give us a day that will come, whether a day or two, to come and display in their office and they buy. And when they see what we make, they can be asking us to bring, And then other things like now, there are some of the students that have graduated and gone out, but they are still not accommodated in their community. There are certain things that make them not to be there. So then we try to adjust, and then they are selling the things. You will see what they have exposed there for people to. So our sales, these days most sales are online. Yeah. But by then, people will visit and they will buy, or they order for it and we make it and they will take it.
It's a long one, because I would even say that you can even have a book where someone will just read and read and read, and the person will be like, this is more like a movie. Like a movie. Now, talking about stigmatization, how are you able to help these people living with disabilities mentally? Sometimes mental health in our society is something that gives people a whole lot of problem, and it just makes the inferiority complex. It just makes them feel bad. Sometimes they feel they should just die. They want to kill themselves, suicide and all. How? Because when we came in here, we saw some of them looking so happy and, living their normal life. How do you eradicate this should I call it a kind of hearts or a feeling?
Well, for us here, one of the first things we do is to do immediately they come with their parents or anybody that brings them. We sit them down and let them know that they are able. We let them know they can be powerful. We let them know that there's nothing wrong with them. And we let them know that they're going to. This place transforms them. Do you understand? So we do sit them down, give an induction to their parents and to themselves, or to them again when they come, and let them know how they will be, what they will be when they go out. But that, to me, I don't pity them. I don't see the disability. Because I've been with them for so long and I know what they can do. Even behind the curtain, I know what they can do. And so, here, we do not cook for them. They cook for themselves. Because earlier when we started, when we were with the MDE, we had somebody who would go and cook. When you cook, they say if it is even the day they want to eat swallow, they say the soup is not sweet, or the way they made it and all that. But then an idea came. If this young girl or this young boy is in their parents' house, won't they be doing something? What will make them not to be doing something? They move about, either on the skateboard, or on the wheelchair, or we stop people. We give you raw food. We call on people, friends, church, bring us the raw food. Like now, to go to the store, I'm sure there must be a bag of rice there or something. So the cook is part of making them feel they belong. The day somebody from the British Deputy High Commission came here, she was going to Ibadan, a white lady, And from Ibadan, she came here. And when she came here, like you expressed, she said that this place is different from where she came. It's the same set of people. So these people, we have a well here. If the tap is not running, we show them how to draw water.
Wow.
We will have stove, we have kerosene, we have this thing. Their parents or whoever is sponsoring, what we talk about sponsoring, that money you give for them to feed, from there they go and buy these things. They can cook. They go to the market. You know, market is closed.
Yes.
So this place was God-made position to communicate with the community. We go to the market. They will do their cooking. We supervise and tell them how they cook. If the first person comes and get adjusted, you will be part of us to, get other people adjusted. And when they started cooking and doing things, sweeping, see our compound. We don't have a gardener. They are doing it themselves. They are cutting the distance. And we teach them how to do it. So when they started doing almost everything, they become very, very, very happy that they are something. And any good thing they do, we praise them. And they're happy. In fact, one of them that came last week, after 3 days, I came in here. He laid down on the chair in the reception. And I asked, has this boy eaten? What's his name? I know that. They say he has eaten. I said, I woke him. I said he's not feeling happy. And I started crying. And I said, what's wrong? He wanted to go back. To where are you back? You are not going back. Oh, maybe you are begging. You have stayed here for 3-4 days. You want to, there's no way you can go and take the extra money. That money they give you on the road, it will make you deserve more. That money is not good. Make it yourself. But if somebody wants to dash you money to add to what you are doing, it's different from. He is here now. If you see him now, how happy. He can run with this. So the money anybody gives them to, they collect it, they sign, they go to the market, somebody supervises how they cook. So they are made to know that they are human beings and they will excel. And when any one of them like this make this shoe and sell it and know how much, before we know it, they begin to buy and make on their own and say, buy, make, sell, and excel. So we give them the encouragement, the confidence that they are something.
Friends of people with disabilities, where do you see yourself in the next, say like 10, 15 years?
With the program we have now, just like every other program from our project, one takes us to the other. We don't even plan that this, like, immediately we put up one, that one must bring out something that follows. In the next 5 years or so, every child leaving primary or secondary school will know sign language. So, the way, if by God's grace, the schools take to what we have, the recommendation, there is what we call continuous assessment in school. And that continuous assessment does not depend on the classwork. So there is 40% continuous assessment of how even you behave in school and all that.
Yes.
And 60% of the real core, whatever. So within there, can you sign? Somebody can say, I am here. And when they know that signing basic things is part of their record for this thing, they will get it. This club will launch now, individually or collectively, on the extracurricular activity which is part of school system now. They can go to the next school within that time. And anybody who wants to be teaching, you see, they can go to another school that is not even inclusive. And you will see the church where they belong to, the mosque where they belong to. It is going to. So there will be more inclusiveness and inclusive approach in the next 5-10 years you are asking me, as far as hearing and speech impairment is concerned. And when you come to other disabilities, like those that do not, the visually impaired, they have a place, they have somebody guiding and leading them. Do you understand? If they come to us, they have a special computer, and how the people in the visual impairment system who knows how to handle them will handle them. We recommend them to that side. So issues of disability is not a big deal and a big issue. And I know some disabilities come as a result of accident or so. We are not born with it. It is still something that everybody around would, come around and help you. I would tell the parents to try what you can and to reach out to those who are helping, to those who know what to do. Because some of them don't know even what to do. And I think these days there is more awareness. If they don't know what to do, they can come to a place like this. And we get calls from time to time. My child is having this. What do we do? Where do we go? If it's not what we do, we refer them to some places. And now, to the government, the next question was getting into...
Yes, and to the people out there, who stigmatize, who don't want to
relate to the public, to my dear Nigerians. I don't want them to keeping these young boys and girls on the streets by giving them money in the street. Gather that money, take them to one shoemaker, take them to one tailor, take them to where any scale is done, be giving him or her money there to learn it. Because naturally, all animals love to go to the place where they find their food. And since some of them find this food on the road, and immediately they come to the road, there are certain points, even they will go and they get no money. There are certain times they know people come out, they have idea of when to get this money. I would advise and call and beg fellow Nigerians to stop keeping these young people on the road by dashing them money. Let them get the money now and go to one NGO.
Some families even use them as a means of finance,
Of
they
course.
just, when they have someone living with such a special...
Because our Nigerians...
We just bring them out and use them to make money.
We know so many of them that we have accosted. Some that came here and they sneaked out, and you see either their father or their sister also carrying them on them, and we say the best you can do is to take care of this child and let the child go to school and become something. If there is one we brought from that place, Marina, his name is Abbas. You can call him now here from here. He communicates with me. He is limping. Abbas finished his school here in Kingado. I have to make sure that he goes with me. He can go to school. I don't pity them as well. Abbas went to the university. Somebody now had to join. When they are struggling and doing something, others help. Abbas has gone to university. He is teaching, according to the last information he gave me, he's in Suber, Katsina, State Universal Basic Education Commission Board in Katsina. Anybody could get Abbas is there. And there are so many of the one that I said came to my house is working with First Bank. And he has 3 children. The first son is in the university. There's one that was visually impaired. Every time he used to come to me, I took him to Abuja when we were presenting, papers. People was sponsored a conference we went to in Abuja. And I said, because he was very intelligent, he was visually impaired. That's why we are friends of people with disabilities. We don't. So I said, carry your paper. And he carried his certificates. And when he spoke, Balogo, when he spoke, everybody would sit up. He was very intelligent, and his voice was sounding. And immediately he finished speaking, he said, but I am not working. And we prepared it here. Tell them you are not working. I'm not working because I cannot see. They said, but before you finish it, they said, you want to work? Which work? He said he wants to teach. That's one. Your certificate, he brought a photocopy. We safeguard it. He is teaching in one of the federal schools here now. From that time, I think it was 2000, around 2000. We went with him to campaign for this disability bill.
Yes.
And so he's teaching there now. So that is how we help, in getting some of them into jobs and things.
So if you put your mind, you can achieve it.
Yes. They have something, they can do something. Let the world or the community or my fellow Nigerians not think that they are doing them good by
Favor.
by dashing the money on the road.
Mm. All right, thank you very, very much, my chief lady, for being a part of Break Barriers. You have indeed broken barriers, and we're wishing you long life. Yes, because you need it.
I wish you to.
We wish you prosperity to be able to do more, and most definitely, we wish that these projects would be known worldwide so that people can begin to accept these special beings as a part of us. I hope that maybe sometime when I want to have one or two talks with you, you would not say, this lady is here again. You would always say, how was it?
You are always welcome, and we would want your communication or your closeness to us to reach every other person to make this change.
Mm.
Other states can take what has happened in Lagos. We don't need even to go to them, but let them learn and carry it on and move forward.
Thank you.
And we want people now here, there are children here who have no food and who have nobody helping them. Let them come and see. If you come and see what we are doing, and we take you around, we are going to take you around now to see one or two things. If you don't like it, don't. In fact, most people that come here on their own say, this is even better. Let me do this one and let me do this one.
Mm.
And that's how we'll be moving and moving. Partnering with God. Yes.
Thank you very much, Ma.
Bless you, Olayinka.
Thank you very much. And most definitely, this is where we'll be drawing the curtains for Break Barriers today. I hope you had a wonderful time with our Chief Lady Christy. I hope that you have learned one thing or the other. Life is beautiful. Yes, if you make it beautiful. People living with disabilities are part of us. Since no man has power over creation, everyone would want to be perfect in his or her own way. But if you don't have power over it, you just have to accept what it is that God has put in your palm to accept. Until next time, when I will be coming on Break Barriers, I'm wishing you a wonderful time out. My name is Olayinka Olatunji, saying many thanks for watching. Good day.